What's up, everybody? Nick Powell's publisher of 1851franchise.com and CEO of 1851 Growth Club. Today, we're going to discuss how does franchising work. So for you, the buyer, you got to understand at 4,000 opportunities out there, you have 4,000 brands that want you. Why? Because when you're financially qualified and ready to buy, you've cut through this giant line of people that are considering buying a franchise. And now you're at the finish line of making your decision of what brand makes sense. So at this point, most likely you've had conversations with the franchise brand. You've become comfortable with the idea. You may have done some validation. You've called some existing franchisees to ask them, would they do it again? And now you're going to go to this discovery day or decision day to make your decision and for them to make a decision whether this business makes sense for you. So there's a lot of big processes that go into the decision of how franchising is going to work for you as you're going through this. Now, there's a few key things that I want you to know as you're going through this process. One, when you get to that franchise website and you fill out the inquiry form, on the other side, there's someone whose livelihood depends on awarding franchises. This is how franchising works. There's a sales team that's designed to help coach you to the finish line, and therefore you're messing with their livelihood when you fill out that form if you don't return that call. So my recommendation is if you're not ready to have the conversation, don't fill out the form. Much like buying a car, don't fill out the form. Go through information gathering, go on the web, search the brand, go on their social, search the brand, go on their website, search their brand, go in store. You can even do some of your due diligence by looking at franchisees or messaging franchisees on LinkedIn to just say, hey, tell me about this business. Does it make sense for me? Should I even look forward at this? And now because you're ready to actually have the conversation, now when you fill out that form, you got to understand that lead comes into the franchise sales professional on the other side. And most likely they're going to pick up the phone and they're going to call you, or you're going to receive a text message or an email. Now you've been entered into the funnel. And now at this point, now they're going to be vetting you. They're going to look at where are you looking to grow? What's your financial bandwidth? How serious are you about buying this business? There might be some personality tests. They call it the beer test. Like how's your personality when you talk with them? Do they see being in business with you for the next 10, 20 years? And so there's some process that's going to go back and forth. It's almost like dating. You're vetting each other out to make sure you're the right fit. From your standpoint, there's a few key things that you're going to have to think through as you're going through the process of making the decision if that franchise makes sense. Now, I've said this on other videos before, but my recommendation is that you look at an investment where you can afford 2 or 3 of these units. Because if you get stuck in 2 areas, one, when you've signed a franchise agreement, you've gone all the way through this discovery day and you said, yes, this is the brand I want to buy. There's going to be a period of time. It could be 30 days. It could be 90 days. It could be 3 years. And because of this, because there's so much time that goes between your signing and your opening, you're going to feel like you're bleeding cash. And so you need to be properly funded to withstand this time frame so that you don't get stressed or overwhelmed. Stressed or overwhelmed can create significant knee-jerk reactions when buying or building a business. And those knee jerks can actually be the difference between good and great on how you're going to do and how you're going to perform. So now, again, make sure that your capital is strong. You have some sort of financial backing. Sometimes that can mean going to your local bank and building a relationship with a bank so that they can help build some extra bandwidth for you when you're going through the process. When you go through, you're going to see the fees. We've talked about fees, and there's more videos. If you search for franchise fees with 1851 Growth Club, you'll see more on this. But you're gonna be hitting some of these roadblocks in the buying process, like the franchise fee, the royalty. And is some of it negotiable? Very rarely. You got to understand these businesses are built up and they've already established themselves in this groundwork. So some of it may be negotiable, depends on the brand, but most likely no. And so now you gotta dig through some of the pieces. When I did due diligence on a business, I did a deep dive into a business in the summer of 2022. And my conclusion was leadership. I didn't see myself in business with them for a significant amount of time. I wasn't impressed with the technology. I saw gaps in the supply chain, and then franchisee validation was not strong. And so I look at those elements, and even though the volumes were there and it was impressive, it created this pause moment for me that it just didn't feel right. Now, I wasn't out though, and I'm going to be clear about this. I had hesitation, and I went back to the franchisor for clarity, and then some of the true colors came out. And this is part of making sure that you're getting into business with the right person. Similar to becoming business partners with a human being, like you've got to make sure that you're vetting through this process. This is a big decision. You're going to invest your life savings into a business that you have little to no control over. So think through this as you fill out that form and what happens next. Now, in my opinion, it is also like you're going to really struggle if you fill out that form and wait more than 90 days to move forward with buying a business. And you're not wrong to do it. Like there's not one right or one wrong way to buy a franchise. So let's be clear on that. But if you start pausing too much, you're going to talk yourself out. It's much like getting to the edge of a diving board, one of those tall ones. I remember I got up to, it was called the third platform at the pool in my community. I walked up there probably 25 times before I jumped. And that's very similar to buying a business. If you keep on getting up there and you're close and you don't go, you're going to just constantly find reasons to have excuses and not to do this. Now, when you do that in a brand that's growing, you risk losing out that opportunity because there could be another candidate that's looking at your market. Most of the time, a franchisor is going to lock off those markets. So understanding some of these elements of how franchising works is very important to you finding the pathway to the right brand for you. Now, the good news is we built 1851 Growth Club to help you. Now, unlike other organizations, we're not going to come out and say this is free. It's not a free service. The information that we provide is totally free. We're building this so that we can at least arm you with some insights to take out if you're going at this alone, and obviously use 1851franchise.com as another resource. However, we do have coaching models to help coach you through to the finish line. Super transparent. If you click on one of our pages on the 1851 Growth Club site, you'll be able to gain more information in this. So look, I wish you the best of luck in your journey, and hopefully you've gained some sort of insight from this short discussion on what franchising is and how it can potentially work for you. I'm Nick Powles, CEO of 1851 Growth Club.